The Middle of the Pack podcast.
Since I started running, I was like, do you know what? There's not really any Irish running brands. I wanted to make something a bit different and a bit special and like compete with the bigger players in the market, because running gear is really expensive. And I feel like while it's good like that to support multinationals and you have your big brands, there's always room for a smaller guy to come in and do as good of quality stuff that's a bit different, has a bit more of a smaller community kind of vibe to it. Like you see a lot of running brands are popping up in London especially, and all over the world, like that are much smaller, that aren't your Nike, your Adidas, your Asics and your Hokas, that they're a little bit smaller and community based. And that's what I really wanted to build with what I went with in the end, Negative Split.
Welcome to episode 27 of the Middle of the Pack podcast. And that's Cian Charlton, our guest for this week. Entrepreneur, runner, and all-round nice guy. He's going to talk about his running journey. He's going to talk about his companies, 35 Vintage, and his new running clothing brand that you heard him talk about there, called Negative Split. But let's start the conversation with Cian as we just asked him about his running journey and how he got into running. Welcome to episode 27 of the Middle of the Pack podcast.
I kind of did a bit of running all the time, really. I would have been playing sport as a young lad all the way up through school and into college, and tipped away with a bit of community games kind of stuff when I was in school, just to get off school, obviously, and cross country. So that would have been like my first introduction to running. But training in any sort of half serious capacity in like with some sort of goals in mind and like trying to be competitive against myself in races, you could say maybe 2 years ago, that I really found running as like my hobby and sport and something that I really love doing and love the community around, to be honest.
Yeah. And you're a member of Raheny, is that right?
That's right.
And did you do the Raheny 5 mile? Was that recently?
I was just there on Sunday, yeah, Sunday gone. Brilliant race. So I did this year and last year, and you wouldn't believe it, I ran it in the exact same time to the second this year and last year.
You're joking.
In the second. Now, on the GPS, it was 120 meters longer. So I'm calling it, I'm saying that I did it a bit faster. Because I remember coming up to the finish line, I was like, what? It should be quicker than that. So the course was maybe slightly different. My GPS was a little bit off this year. I might have been swinging around bends rather than taking the shortest way.
I know.
Exact same time.
But I know the podcast is Middle of the Pack, but we really celebrate kind of everyday people, everyday runners, really. But what is your normal kind of distance that you did the marathon? I know that, didn't you?
Yeah, I've done a couple of marathons. Yeah. I think what I prefer now, again, I'm not doing it that long to really have made a decision yet, is I love a 10K or a half marathon is probably my favorite race distance.
Yeah.
It's enough that you have time to settle into it and it's not over in a flash, and it's short enough that you don't need the big long recovery and the huge training block that a marathon really takes.
Yeah.
So marathon is probably my favorite, but I also really like shorter stuff. Like I love doing interval sessions. So like I was only talking to my coach a few days ago, and I was saying I want to get on the track this season at some stage for some distance, because I'd never put on a pair of spikes on a track. So I'd love to throw my hand at a 1500 or a 3K maybe. That's what I enjoy doing.
So you have that kind of stamina to do the fast and furious for that short time.
I don't know yet. I like to think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
We haven't given it a crack yet, but I don't mind it. I don't mind hurting for a few minutes. Yeah, I'll go into the pain cave, no problem.
I think my coach has a little frustration with me. I'm kind of like, I don't really want the pain cave. I still want to do good times, but that's why the longer, like a 10 mile or a half marathon, definitely suits me better, because you can recover if people are in your way at the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas in a 5 kilometer, you can't.
Yeah.
Before we get into Negative Split, though, obviously, for those that don't know you do have your clothing business, your 35 Vintage. Do you want to talk a little bit about that on Fade Street, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're in Fade Street here in Dublin city centre. It's 35 Vintage. We sell hand-picked vintage clothing and kind of accessories and bits and bobs. We do some of our own merchandise, like these hoodies and t-shirts, and these t-shirts that say a few pints, nothing hectic. And we do a bit of everything. It's a small enough shop, but we do like football jerseys and t-shirts and jumpers and jeans and jackets and all the rest. And I started the business probably, maybe 6.5 years ago, just like a couple of weeks into COVID. I was working in bars and studying in college at the time. And when I lost that job, I was just kind of sold my own clothes online on this app called Depop. And
Uh-huh.
then I built my own website. And then from there, I moved home to Mayo, to my family home, where I brought all the stuff into mom and dad's attic and wrecked the gaff. And then it just kept growing from there. We did pop-up shops in universities for the first year or two. Then I opened a shop in Kelchama in Mayo for 2 years before getting the opportunity to come to Dublin. And that's where we are today.
Very good. You used to do a pop-up shop downstairs for soccer jerseys.
Yeah,
Is that
we still have that. So now that's a permanent fixture because of how successful it was. We call that Fade Street kits. And yeah, we still have football jerseys here. I'm looking at them across the rail here. I'm in the shop at the moment.
and any vintage running gear there?
I don't know if you'd want to be buying any vintage running gear, would you? We get a
That's-
couple. What we do get actually before the modern technology with fabrics, they might have given cotton t-shirts for after a race. So we
Yeah.
do. And I personally, I collect. I probably have a collection of 20 or 30 vintage kind of marathon or running tops. So I have some 5K t-shirts from like Minnesota, like the charity run there from 1993. I think I have one going back to 89 as well. I have a 2003 Dublin Marathon one, like the cotton t-shirts, which are nice. Have like a big graphic on them.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
the polyester sporty material that we get at races today.
Yeah, I might be tempted with well, it depends. Depends how worn the running vest is, but
Yeah,
you can get some decent
yeah,
ones maybe
yeah,
secondhand. My kids are big into vintage now, which is probably your
yeah.
competition maybe. So, but that must take up a lot of your time then from a running point of view as well, does it?
Yeah, well, we have a great team. Like I have 4 staff working with us here at the shop, so like they're obviously fantastic and completely necessary for running the business. Day to day, I'd like to be here Monday to Friday generally, just to keep things rocking and do a bit of admin from this seat where I'm sitting right here actually now.
Yeah.
But the guys are unreal. Like I have great staff. You know yourself. I'm sure might have staff with your company too. And it's so important. Like it's a full team effort. So I'm flexible with running. I'll always make time to get a run in.
But is weekends not your must be in days, no?
I generally try to keep my weekends off. My partner's off on weekends as well. And I think having that work life balance is really important to me. So I'll get all the work done Monday to Friday and then trust the guys here to take care of the business Saturday and Sunday, generally speaking.
Oh, well, you're a lucky chap. So you can get all your long runs in at the weekend and things like that.
Sometimes I got a bit of a medium long run in this afternoon actually because the sun started shining with that storm blowing over. So I'm very flexible with my runs. Sometimes I'll have a random. I remember one day I had a 37K at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, and I captioned the story on Instagram something like your your self-employed friend on a random Wednesday just doing like a long run was got a couple of laughy face responses by some friends, but I'm sure you do the early mornings and the late nights as well that are kind of the the unseen hours, which I'm definitely know the crack with as well.
But it is, yeah, for running definitely, and marathon blocks being self-employed is certainly helpful. Like, I mean, I don't know how like people with
Yeah,
standard 9 to 5s can do proper marathon block. It must be really
yeah,
tough.
yeah. It's really impressive.
So then with all that going on, then you decide to go and launch a running. Yeah.
It's never enough. There's never enough. I like to be kept on my toes and kind of try and make things happen while I can and while I have the ability to do it because
Yeah.
I have a couple of hours free time and it's something I really wanted to do since I started running. I was like, do you know what? There's not really any Irish running brands that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's a few out there, but I wanted to make something a bit different and a bit special and like compete with the bigger players in the market because running gear is really expensive and I feel like while it's good like that to support multinationals and you have your big brands, there's always room for a smaller guy to come in and do as good of quality stuff that's a bit different, has a bit more of a smaller community kind of vibe to it. Like you see a lot of running brands are popping up in London especially, and all over the world, like that are much smaller, that aren't your Nike, your Adidas, your Asics, and your Hokas, that they're a little bit smaller and community based. And that's what I really wanted to build with what I went with in the end. Negative Split was the name I thought would be kind of cool, and I was very surprised there wasn't already a running brand called Negative Split. But yeah, I went with that. So for the past, I'd say about 9 or 10 months, I've been buying in samples and making plans and drawing up designs and kind of planning what I want to do with the brand. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what's going to come for it. That's one of the sample hats there, just one of one. I'm probably going to get these made in bulk with a couple of different bits and bobs and small adjustments to it. But we released with the skull cap, kind of like a beanie hat there last week, and the response to that was unreal. I think we're up at like 700 or 800 followers on the Instagram now, and people have been really supportive of it. And yeah, t-shirts, singlets, jackets, socks, all that jazz is coming down the line. Dumping all my spare cash into it.
I was just going. I was just going to say.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'll pay off. I have a lot of faith in it and belief in it, and it's something I really want to do, a real passion of mine. So I'm looking forward to. I'm happy to put as much money into it as need be. I think it's going to work.
And the Negative Split is starting slow and finishing fast.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that is that your game plan with the website as well?
Yeah, like the phrase the motto I was kind of going with for the brand was start strong, finish stronger, which is again like a negative split, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I started strong last week with the launch of the brand. People have been absolutely loving the skull caps, which I knew people would. And I intend to do that with every other product we release as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of it. I'm playing the long game with it, long and slow.
So is it a kind of a case of you need a bit of funding, or are you in a situation where the skull caps will
Yeah,
get you will get you
skull
there?
caps won't get me far. I haven't even broke even on the skull caps yet, but every cent I make, probably for the first year, I kind of know, you know yourself with business, I'm not expecting to make anything out of it for a year. The vintage business is my main gig, and I don't drink or eat out really or spend much money on anything except running shoes. So Negative Split is getting all my pocket money goes to Negative Split.
So you've started with the skull cap. What else is simmering under, and what's the kind of timescales for what will come?
I'm hoping to have a launch event in April or May. Hopefully by then I'll have a decent range of stuff to kit you out head to toe. So I'm talking like hats, singlets, t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts. I got a nice jacket the last day, some recovery wear like hoodies and tracksuits. So I kind of everything, and I'll just build it out slowly over time. But some really, really nice designs in the pipeline. And I found some class factories that really produce some really top notch, like up to date modern gear, which is as good, if not better, than some of the stuff I have from other brands. So I'm hoping summertime we'll have like a proper full collection available for people. And then I'll just tip away with it and keep working on new stuff as often as possible, and hopefully do some pop. I'd love to be at the RDS for the Marathon Expo. That was one of the goals I have in my on my calendar for the year. Having a little stall there in October time would be a really big achievement if I got there. Just get people exposed to the brand, see the logo, see the gear, feel it, and see it for themselves. Because I know with online, it is hard to like know, is this stuff good? So because it would be an online store, people don't actually get the opportunity to come and touch and feel the Negative Split gear. So doing pop-up events at races or being at the expo would be class. A really cool way
Yeah.
for people and feel it for themselves, because that's the only way you'll know, and you can try it on. And yeah,
And sizing as well is important, isn't it? Like, so people, even though you might be a large in Adidas, you may not be a large in Nike, and Negative Split might be big and small fitting. So being able to touch and feel must be
yeah,
important as
definitely.
well.
Yeah.
I think I've seen your singlet. Did I see people wearing that?
Yeah, so there's a few bits out and about in the wild for the past couple of weeks. I've been getting samples in for the past ages now, and some friends and other people in the running community have been like trying them out. And the one thing I tell them is like, I don't care if this is good or bad. Well, I care if it's good, but I want you to tell me the truth. So I just give it to them. A lot of the pieces I give are actually like unbranded. So you'll see some. I think I was trying out one of the singlets, which I need to do a few adjustments to, but a few of them are out in the wild, and I'll give people unbranded stuff. So they just like, what do you think of this singlet? What do you think of the material? How does it wash? How does it fit? Would you make it longer? Would you make it shorter? And I really, really, I've got so many brilliant people on this on board that wanted to be the best. So getting all that feedback in and bringing it back to the drawing board, redesigning and reconsidering fabrics and stuff has been actually so fun. Now expensive, but fun.
And tell me, will you go into lots of colorways, or will you be like keeping everything
Monotone.
limited?
I like some funky colors myself, so I'm definitely going to have some like impressive kind of standout pieces for people that want to like stand out on say a starting line. But you'll definitely have your basics, black, grey, more monotone colors that are a bit safer for sure, being the main feature. But for the race day singlets, I have some like nice funky colors, like a bit of eye-catching ones, you could say.
Yeah, you have to have a bit of that with running,
Yeah.
don't you? Anyway, worried that, they say sometimes in business it shouldn't be run by the heart. It should often be run by the head. Are you confident that you you're
Doesn't
on the
really
right track?
No, I'm very confident that I'm on the right track. And the nice thing is that it is a hobby. And if it doesn't work, I don't mind. I'm not dumping my life savings into it. I'm, well, not far off it, but I'm happy to do that to get it off the ground. I'm going to give it a go for at least 2 or 3 years. I'm like in the pipeline, I like in my head, I'm like, this is not stopping within like 2 or 3 years minimum. It isn't one product and done. I have it planned out enough now at this stage that minimum 2 or 3 years. So I'll be fine. I'll be
Now
fine.
that's good.
As long as the vintage industry stays going and I get a wage, it'll be fine.
No, I think the good thing about vintage is that it keeps moving along, doesn't it? People still,
Yeah,
so
gets
it,
more vintage.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So tell the listeners, Negative Split, what's the website, social media?
Yeah, NegativeSplit.ie is the Instagram handle right now. I've had some issues with domains for anyone that's in the web space or knows tech, you have to purchase domains. I have the domain NegativeSplit.ie, but basically I have to reconnect it. So the website currently is NegativeSplit.co, but that will be .ie once I get that sorted. I've been talking to the help team at the hosting site, and hopefully that'll be sorted soon.
And at the moment, you've just got the cap.
At the moment, I have the skull cap available. That's all.
Yeah, but
It's only a handful left, and then hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months, so April or May, I'll probably hold off. I probably won't go dropping one item at a time. I think I'm going to save up now and do one big launch with in-person event somewhere, like a launch weekend with loads of kind of initiatives and pop-ups, and give some free gifts to everyone that comes along, and do like a big launch. Just with the skull caps of the nature of them, I didn't want to hold on to them till next autumn or winter because it
yeah.
was cold. I was like, I may as well get this off the ground because I was just sitting on it for too long trying to perfect it when it doesn't need to be perfected. It needs to just be released.
And are you going to go into retail sites, or are you just going to stay online while it's hobby?
That would be really cool. Yeah. Down the line, I think for the first year or two, anyways, probably 2 years, I'll build it fully myself organically. And yeah, like if it becomes popular, then I can't see any reason why it wouldn't be in your local running shop at some stage. That'd be absolutely like on the cards and something I kind of would hope would happen for sure.
And I know the running community, from my experience, is a very supportive community, even if you're a slow runner, middle of the pack runner, and
Right.
launching a clothing brand. I'm sure people will get behind it if they haven't already,
Yeah.
do you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And tell me, shoes, you won't go down that far, will you?
I won't go down that far. I'll leave that to the pros. I don't know where to start with shoes. At least with my background in clothing already, I have access to manufacturers. I kind of understand clothing that isn't shoes a bit better. So I'll leave the shoes for now. You won't be seeing Negative Split shoes for a good few years. But look,
You
never say
never
never.
know.
I'll never say
Exactly.
never.
And with your own running journey, do you have a shoe of choice, a shoe rotation? Have you a shoe addiction like me?
I have a shoe addiction just like yourself. There's about, I can say at least 20 pairs of running shoes under the bed. I love my favorite race day shoe is going to be the Asics Metaspeed Edge. Last year's model, not the newer Tokyos. I got the Skies this year. I don't know. I have Alpha Flies as well, which I quite like for racing. But my everyday trainer go to is probably the Hoka Bondi 9 or the Nike Vomero 18. I think they're on now. Yeah, they're good, but I change them around the whole time.
I get frustrated with shoes in that you just get to like one and you get whatever 500 kilometers on them, and then you
Yeah,
know that they're going to change from the one that you like. So
yeah, yeah. I know
I,
a lot of people that buy the same pair. If they find a pair of daily trainers that they're going to be banging a lot of mileage into, they'll buy three or four pairs to like that one that they like because they'll have them then rather than before the model changes, the foam changes or whatever.
you see, then I get FOMO. You see, I love the Evo SLs, the Adidas ones at the moment, and you can see because the colorways are dropping off, so they're going to launch a new one.
Yeah.
And then if I get another pair, I'm going to miss out on the new one, and they're not always as good. You see, that's
Yeah. They're a very popular shoe, all right. I actually I got a pair, but they were half a size too small, so I just gave them on to one of my mates. But I heard great things about them. Yeah,
that like like I said, I have a shoe addiction, so I've tried a lot of runners, but they are by far the best. You know, they'd they'd nearly they'd nearly be carbon plated, but they're not. You know, but
would you wear them for most runs?
yeah, I would want to, but
Yeah, yeah.
I have so many I have so many that I
Have
have
to
to
give them
just
all a go.
I have to justify the spend. Um, I think for races, the carbon plates are kind of a psychological must, maybe. But the Evo SL is definitely for speed sessions, for just recovery runs, everything. I just feel so much better when I wear them.
Yeah, yeah, nice. That's great.
Listen, you've got so many followers. Have you not got any influencer freebies yet?
I do get a few pairs for free, yeah, a handful, but like maybe three or four pairs I've got now, I'd say. Hopefully, a few more coming down the line now. If any brands are watching, they can send me out a few pairs. But you can never have enough pairs of runners. You know yourself. Never have enough.
No, no, it's yeah, it is. I think it is one of the guilty pleasures of the sport. You know, I used to cycle, but just yeah, it just got, I think, too dangerous, and that's an expensive sport. And
Right.
then someone says, "Sure, running is great. All you need is a pair of shorts and a top, and just get it yourself out there." No one mentioned the 250 euro to 300 euro
Yeah.
runners that you'd want to buy. Um,
every 3 months or whatever it is, and no one mentions the €150 marathon entries, or whatever it costs these days.
so, what are your plans for 2026 running point of view? Not your negative
Yeah.
splits and your vintage clothing. Have
From
you
a
got
running
it?
point of view, I'd love to just stay consistent the way I've been for the last while, try and stay injury free and get a few local races done. I'll don't have anything big planned. I've no marathons booked in just yet. Might do Dublin towards the end of the year. I didn't get an entry. I think I'll be at I have a wedding that weekend so far, not my own one. Um, that's
Is
the
that
plan.
yet?
Not yet. And yeah, a couple of shorter things. So maybe some 5Ks and 10Ks. I always enjoy them, kind of smaller local races. A couple of half marathons. I'll probably do the Dublin City half in
Uh,
May. I think it is this year. So in a couple of group chats popping off saying that no one got them again.
Oh
So
yeah.
some be coming out today as we're chatting here. But yeah, a couple of track races would be cool as well to give a go at that. But overall, staying consistent, try and just get better. Try and keep the love for the sport and just enjoy every run I can. Yeah,
Absolutely. So if you have a wedding, how are you going to do your trade show RDS stint at Dublin Marathon?
this is true. So the wedding is on. I think it's on the Sunday. So we should be all right for the Friday and the Saturday. Is that a bank? No, it's not a bank holiday. Yeah, the wedding's on the Sunday, so should be all right. The race is on the Sunday as well, so the day before should be all right for me.
Yeah,
It'll be busy, but we'll manage it.
and it would have been tough if you were running it and then attending the expo as well and stand on your feet all day.
Yeah, it would have been a lot for sure. But look, again, I have such a good team at the shop here that I'm sure would help out, and a long list of people that I'm sure would love to help as well. So I'm not usually too worried about staff and things like that. Obviously, it's great to be there yourself, and I would be, but you'll always have hands on deck for if need be.
And you'll be well launched at that stage. That's October, isn't it?
Hopefully, yeah.
Going forward, then, no big plans running wise. Massive
Not
plans,
huge.
massive plans when it comes to running gear.
Yeah, I feel like with the running, you know yourself, it's so unpredictable. like an injury can just come out of nowhere no matter what you do. So I don't like to put massive emphasis on goals with running. I enjoy it, but I don't put too much pressure on myself regarding times and races and getting too hung up on it. I did at one point, and I just kind of grew to resent training a small bit. Be like, oh, I have to get this mileage done. I have to do this tough session, even though my legs are in bits. And I think that's when I ended up picking up bits and bobs of injuries, and just not enjoying it as much as I used to. So I want to be careful with that as well. I think it's important to have a holistic approach. It's not all running, and we can get shot down very quickly with an injury, and then what do we have left? So, yeah, I don't want to get too excited. I'm doing an ultra marathon race actually in Spain in July, Porrick. That's one of the big ones I have as well. 5,000 meters elevation. See how we go with that.
Sorry, you've just gone from no big plans to just launch an ultra in June in Spain.
Yeah, and I just remember that now. One of my friends, Connor, good friend of mine, bought a plot of land in Asturias in the north of Spain, and he's going to be setting up like a wellness retreat there. So he's bringing 8 or 12 people over for his like the inaugural weekend or week and a half kind of retreat kind of thing, and we're all encouraged to take part in this trail race. So there's 3 or 4 distances in it. There's a 28k, a 50k, and a 89k. I said I'll challenge myself and go out and enjoy the mountains for 9 or 10 hours and do the 50 rather than the 23. But thinking about it now, I might have bitten off a bit more than I chew, and you're making me want to go to Glendalough tomorrow for a big trail run, but we'll be all right.
And is the marathon the longest you've done prior to that?
Marathon is the longest I've ran, yeah. So there'll be an extra 7 or 8 kilometers, and I think the 5,000, there's 5,500 meters elevation gain. So you're up and down and up and down. So it's more like I'm not sure really what to expect with it, but judging from the average times, like the winner won it in about 6.5 hours, and the last fellas were maybe 13 or 14 hours. So if I was in and around 10 or 11, I'd be very, very happy with a race like that. I wouldn't be racing it. I'd be just out there to enjoy it and take in the scenery and experience trail properly.
I think that's important sometimes. I would be more kind of sometimes just taking the decision to run a race rather than to race a race, or do it at a tempo pace, or your marathon, whatever. Because sometimes my wife is brilliant. Like, she'd go to Amsterdam and see all the scenery and windmills, and I'm just looking at the trainers on the people running ahead of me. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Missed the whole thing.
I guess.
But listen, we're coming to the end. I know you're a busy man, and I really appreciate your time. I felt it was really important when I saw that, I was going to say I'd like to get you on the podcast at some stage, but when I saw that you were launching a brand, I thought it's important just to get, an Irish brand on the podcast and to support it, like you said.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best of luck with it, and hopefully the running community will get behind you.
Thanks so much. I really, really appreciate that. You're very kind.
Yeah, and just remind us again what the websites and the social media sites are.
Yeah, my own social media is just Cian Charlton, my name. And for Negative Split, if you type in NegativeSplit.ie, that's where you'll find Negative Split. You'll probably see my mug on the Instagram page or the Facebook.
But it's NegativeSplit.co at the moment.
The website where you can pick up a skull cap for now, yeah.
Yeah, and what price are they?
They're €28.
Very good. So listen, thank you very much, and the best of luck with it all.
Thank you very much. Great chatting to you.
And that's Cian Charlton, our guest for this week, episode 27. I hope you enjoy that chat and hope you get behind Negative Split. Just keep an eye on his website, as he says, NegativeSplit.ie, and there'll be loads of new clothing items appearing over the next few months anyway. So that was Cian Charlton, our guest for this week. Follow him on all his social medias as well. He's very entertaining and lots of informative information about running and what he's getting up to. Next week's guest is going to be Enda Kiernan, a great running figure here in the city of Cork. If you know him, tune in. If you don't know him, tune in anyway. And I hope you enjoyed that chat. But for this week, Thanks for listening and keep on running.